I don't even feel like there's like a redemption arc from the asshole that we found.
No.
We just found that he's a lovable asshole who was kind of right the whole time, or in a good way the whole time.
He makes their lives better, which I think is kind of spectacular.
But with a couple of bumps, it's
never perfect.
Hey, Gretchen, welcome back.
Thanks.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Check the Gate podcast.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to talk about this film. I love this film. I saw it in the theater, but not when it first came out. It came out in 2020 and really sort of just disappeared and died during the pandemic. I saw it in a movie theater in 2024. It played at a movie theater, Cinemagic, here in town.
Oh,
and
that's a
people
great
have been
theater.
raving about it. Yeah, it's so good. So I was dying to talk about this film so badly, and here we are. And I was so excited to be able to show it to you. The sweetest kick in the nuts ever.
Which is an apt description, honestly.
Yeah. So this was kind of out of your box. So you want to talk about that?
So normally I'm a big, let's be real. I watch a lot of horror films because I judge films for film festivals, specifically horror film festivals. And mainly I'm more apt to watch like something with supernatural elements or whatnot. If I'm going to watch that's something out of that element of the horror genre. So this was a great introduction film for me for this kind of, because I have to be honest, like the very first 30 minutes of it, I'm like, oh boy, this is very indie and has that like those long quiet moments that make you go, is this going to be any good? And then it just ramps up. And I was wildly impressed by it. I would say that the way you describe that is perfect. That is break your heart, but also is like heartfelt and earnest, has these moments of where you're rooting for what would normally be like the bad guy.
Yeah.
In this kind of scenario.
Well, he's an anti-hero, not a bad guy.
Yeah, he is. Well, I think we should start with that, right? Like, so break down that character. Tell us about the film.
Well, so we'll introduce the film. And, oh my goodness, I love this film so much. So, Dinner in America is directed by Adam Reimer, and it stars Kyle Galtner and Emily Skeggs, who is just fantastic. And so this is kind of it's a middle of America punk love story.
Yes.
And I find it to be rather very untraditional in how it's set up. You had said indie. I guess it could be indie. I've seen a few other mainstream films trying to have this, where there is not necessarily a clear plot that is derived right at the beginning, where you know what the thread is supposed to be, and we're just following all of that. It borders on slice of life that turns into something that has a cohesive narrative to it.
Yeah.
And so we've got this punk person that we really don't know much about, but they're definitely just like this punk against the system who seems to be kind of bouncing from crash pad to crash pad until they bump into, and that's Simon, and then they bump into Patty. And so Simon and Patty begin to develop this relationship. He's hiding out, she's been fired from a job, and they're starting to kindle this punk rock relationship to find out that he is actually the secret identity singer for this punk band that she is a huge fan of and has been sending love letters to.
Oh yes, her love letters.
Oh yes, quite the intense love letters.
Like, I thought, well, at first, though, this character has he's kind of a shit, right? Like, so you're introduced to him by
he's
him
anti-hero.
being, he's in a drug, a study or something like that.
It's a drug study.
And we kind of see him as like, he's really aggressive but he's that overly aggressive to where it's unpleasant to be around him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the kind of person you would expect to be like, to steal your wallet while you're like going into the bathroom kind of thing.
And he
like,
kind of does.
He probably kind of does. But he also steals your heart. No, it's, I liked how, first of all, Kyle Gallner is having his moment right
Oh
now.
yeah, Strange Darling that just happened.
Ooh, that was fantastic.
And he's in Smile 2.
Yeah,
I believe.
I think
He's in Smile 2.
I think
I
he's
haven't
in-
seen Smile or Smile 2. I've been recommended those, but I haven't yet.
Smile 2 is way better than Smile 1.
Oh,
just
okay.
saying.
Well, there you go.
Way better. You don't even need this first movie. It's
Interesting.
It's independent of its own lore, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. But that aside, like he this character, I remember when I first said to you, I was like, wow, he's got like the German tourist haircut, because it was just like he had the side shave, and it was very like indicative of the times. But
I want a mohawk, but I really don't want a
but I also
mohawk.
like have to have like a job, maybe.
With a little tail. He's got the little
He's
tail
got
and everything
the
back there.
mole
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
But I think that this character, like, at first you have this, your first gut reaction is like, what a fucking shithead. What a guy.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even like talk to this guy. You know,
Right.
He's that intense. And it only made sense for him to be a punk rock musician.
Right.
Because at first you don't know this about him. The only thing we know about him is that he sells drugs.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of works on the side and doesn't really, and like seems to be very aggressive, and he talks to like authority with aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't really get like anything about him until we meet Patty. And then when we meet Patty, she's like intellectually delayed, I think, but not disabled. Like
Possibly.
She's delayed, I think, because I get the impression that because of the way that she interacts with people, I think that she's like maybe has a lower IQ or whatnot, but but that's what kind of pushes the story.
And it's a little bit of like Arrested Development in
Yeah.
that she's in her mid-20s
Right.
and still living at home, and her parents are still treating her like she's a 14-year-old.
Absolutely.
So whatever could possibly be there is really arrested
Yes.
by the parents and the structure of their home.
Which is spectacular.
So good.
I love the fact that it's called Dinner in America too, because it's such a sideline, but it's there in the story wise. We have these scenarios throughout this film where people are having dinner together. Like when Kyle meets her family, they have dinner together.
Yeah.
Simon,
yeah.
Simon meets her family, they have dinner together. When she meets
Chicken
Simon's
cordon bleu.
family, what the fuck?
And it was like a frozen meal too. She didn't even like make it from scratch. It was like
It's
pulled
so
out
good.
frozen and
It's so good. I mean, I don't think have I ever had chicken cordon bleu? I don't think so. I don't even know what it is. I think it's like cheese and ham.
I think it
or
is
something like that.
ham placed inside of a chicken breast that is then breaded and cooked.
Oh.
And then there might be a sauce on it. I know I've had it, but I haven't eaten meat or chicken in like 20 years, 25 years. So it's hard to remember
I don't think
all
I've
that,
ever had
yeah.
cordon bleu. I think that is like
Yeah.
no. I think it was something I always thought was like
It's the off-season turducken.
That's exactly it. Perfect, because it's like shoved inside of it's meat inside of meat. Blech.
And just in case this meat wasn't working out, we've covered it in
Cheese.
breadcrumbs and cheese.
Oh, that's so gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, but no, it's like, but I love those little moments, and then we have and then Patty and him have a meal together, and there's those coming together moments. There was another dinner that happened.
Well, we start out with a meal when Kyle leaves from the drug testing facility,
That's
and he
right.
leaves with the other person in the drug trial, and she invites him over to
Yes.
dinner and a blowjob.
Which, hey, how can you say no?
I could probably list a couple of reasons why you could
I mean,
or should, but
they
he
met at a drug-
didn't.
They met at a drug study. I mean, it wasn't like they were in rehab, but
For multiple days too. So
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
we meet Leah Thompson.
That's
who
right.
is-
Our brief moment of Leah Thompson.
So good. She looks great.
Leah Thompson looks great. She's like 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years older than I am.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to believe because she's been in this industry for so long. And I think about her back in Back to the Future.
Right.
And playing these older characters and then younger characters. It's like, holy cow. And what age was I when I was watching this stuff? And here's Leah Thompson, who still looks fabulous.
Smoking
that
hot.
I had a crush
Woo!
on when I was that young. And then to realize, holy cow, we were so close together in age.
She was smoking hot.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
she is totally a MILF in this. And
Yeah.
she is
And
definitely
she plays the MILF.
in
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Which was kind of spectacular in that moment, like where she's like trying to seduce him, and it reminded me of a little bit of that scene with in Edward Scissorhands with like in the
Oh.
Yeah, right?
I
Why is it
had
always a redhead? What the
not
hell?
connected it
What
like
is
that.
happening?
That's pretty good.
Rude. But there is that moment of like where she's like playing a record and she's like you want to dance with me? And
Right.
he's like, oh yeah, like I'm totally gonna bang
And it's
this.
not any kind of like random song that I just wanted to play this. This was like it's a little soft, sexy time.
It was great. It was great.
It was really perfect.
And then we have her husband in the other room being like, watching a football game with their son. And another thing that I noticed about this film, and we talked about it when we were watching it, was that it has this timelessness.
Yeah.
But because there isn't anybody using a cell phone, but there is one mention of a cell phone, because there was times where I was like, what year is this film? Because everybody's using, like, they say Jambox, they have CDs, or they have tapes.
They have cassette tapes, yeah.
And so that made me wonder, like, is this, like, they're in the 90s?
Right.
But there's
and
a
Adidas
mention.
tracksuits. There's the guys that have the tracksuits. It's like, I don't know anybody who wears a tracksuit like that on the regular. Like, that was a joke of the 80s, 90s thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it you're right. It has this timeless feel to it, because when you asked me, I had said, well, this is modern day. But then I started to really doubt myself, and you had a really good point where you were pointing out all these things, and I'm like, oh yeah, did I get it wrong? And it was like, really what it came down to is like, I didn't care.
Well, I think what's happening is that because we're showing like suburban Michigan, and this is not a very wealthy state.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of the things that's kind of part of the background of this, is that we're seeing this state of like suburban decline. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there is like that's why the TV was like 10 years out or 20 years out of date.
Yeah.
And like she's using a Jambox.
It was one of those old console TVs that's in like the wooden box around.
Which is so wild, because I had one of those when I was a kid. I remember I messed ours up one time. I took a pacemaker magnet to it. Woo!
Oh, the old cathode ray tube, and screwed it up. Nice.
Oh yeah, good times. Had a perfect, like Telly Savalas had like an orange spot on his face forever. Just saying.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, those moments made me think, like, didn't take me out of it, because I was like, my brain was too busy trying to figure out like what era are we in or whatnot. But I definitely thought that added to the independentness feeling of it, of this film. If that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and like I said, I hadn't questioned it the first time I had watched it. I didn't place it in an era. Yeah. And I guess I feel that because of the punk rock attitude and what I feel that it's trying, what I at least got out of it, is that it kind of doesn't matter what the time is, because our character is supposed to be antisocial and anti-establishment, but and not even having like I don't even feel like there's like a redemption arc from the asshole that we found.
No,
we just found that he's a lovable asshole who was kind of right the whole time, or in a good way the whole time.
Well, he also seems to, weirdly enough, what is he? He seems to do this thing. He has this effect on people around him. The people that he likes, he makes their lives better, which I think is kind of spectacular.
But with a couple of bumps. It's not a gentle thing, or
it's never perfect.
Right, exactly.
But like, for instance, like the younger brother, right? She has oh boy. She has a younger brother, Maggie.
Patty. Yeah.
Patty has a younger brother, and she reveals to Simon that he's adopted. But the kid doesn't know it. So at the dinner table, when they're having dinner and the younger brother's being a shithead, he's all like reading the parents about the fact that he's adopted, and like it's this.
It's all news to him.
And it's,
he's finding out in real time over cordon bleu.
Oh my God. That was that moment where I was like, ugh, like that's why like I internally cringe, because that's like everybody you could see that written on their faces, and then the son's face is like reading this moment of like, what, I'm adopted, and then but he was kind of a schmuck. The kid is like kind of a jerk, and
well, he's just wound tight.
Yeah,
and then he
that's teaches him the joys of marijuana.
Yeah, he does. And so it's interesting too with all that. Like, there's the hints of, I guess, the religious and the Christian aspect of it with the way Simon ends up playing them. But it never becomes overly stated that this is a religious family.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Middle America.
It's Middle America. So they're wound tight. And they're really trying to uphold a very specific image of what it means to be middle class, prosperous enough, white family, progressing through whatever time period that we're in. And so there's very much this veil that Simon starts to yank off of them, and we don't see what the after effects of the veil are going to be until everybody starts, getting their good doses of Simon in there. But he sees it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just kind of this sense about him, because he is this antisocial, anti-system punk. Like, he is a punk rock. He is absolutely punk rock.
But he doesn't read to me like, that was the one thing about his character, that he doesn't remind me of like the punks from the 80s and 90s that I hung around. Mm-hmm. But he reminds me of like more modern, more millennial, not millennial, that's not right. I would say more like more Gen Z, more millennial type punks, because his challenge to authority is way more aggressive. And he, to the point of where like there's a scene where Patty tells him to kiss her in the restaurant, and again at dinner, and of some sort. And he starts making out with her, and he sees these two women looking over at him. He's like, kind of comes at him a little bit, and you're like, whoa, calm down.
Mind your business.
Right? You're making out with this chick in the middle of the restaurant. I'm going to be looking too. Shit.
Yeah, if you don't want people to watch the show, don't
aggressively making out.
Yeah.
But it was like,
pinned against the wall. Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yeah. But that's a great meal. And we've come back to that Dinner America. There are all those meals. And you had started to point out, we had the first one with the woman that he was in the drug testing with.
Yes.
And that one goes awry. And then the next time we see him, he's with Patty. So he's with Patty and their family. And then we do have... there is the burger restaurant after they successfully beat up the jocks and have their moment.
Yes.
There is the dinner with Simon's family when we start to kind of uncover a little bit more about Simon's past, even though we know that he is the leader of the punk rock band.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see that he comes from a family of some wealth, like not typical middle America. They are definitely upper class and worried about some status. And
except for his older brother, which kind of made me a little sad that we didn't get to examine that a little bit more. Like, we didn't get much story in him, but we also didn't need it. He wasn't the main focus, but I just thought it was kind of great that we get to circle back on him at the end. Yeah. But other than that, he doesn't have much of a role other than just kind of standing up for him.
Right.
Which I thought was great. There are these... I've met people like this, where these like people that come from great backgrounds or like upper class families, and then just being very anti-establishment in comparison or whatever. And I'm like, to me, it's easy to do that if you come from wealth. So that to me took down his like punk rockness a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, it's easy to rail against the system if you have something to back you up. Mm-hmm. But you kind of learn that he doesn't really have that because of his family are on like their last leg with him or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is a thing with that kind of. I hate to say, it doesn't make him less of an interesting character, but it definitely lets you see a little bit more insight into why he's what he's railing against.
Yeah.
Because his railing against authority, I think it comes from the fact that his parents were trying to control him. Mm-hmm. Just like Patty's parents were trying to control her. Mm-hmm. But she kind of fell into line until she doesn't fall into line anymore.
Right.
And one of the things I appreciate about him is that he teaches her to stand up for herself. And I don't think she would have ever had the opportunity to get out of that cycle because she was just accepting, because of her delayed start or arrested development, she isn't able to stand up for herself, protect her own resources and things like that. Because clearly there was this moment where we find out that she hasn't been paid by her boss.
Yeah.
That he tells her that
paycheck,
her last job, the reason why he's firing her is because they were raising the minimum wage in Michigan.
Right.
Only to find out he hired a hot girl. What?
And commented on Patty's supposed ability to process information in the timely way that he wanted it to be done.
Right. Yeah. But I appreciate that about him, like teaching her to stand up for herself in that respect.
Yeah.
I mean, he even like calls people out because that I thought was also very cool. Like he calls out her family, he calls out her boss, her ex-boss or whatever. Mm-hmm. I liked, those are the things that made me go, when we were watching it, when I had said that these are the things that made me go, everybody is better for meeting him.
Yeah.
In a way.
I don't know if it was their intention or not, but it's the commentary that I get out of it, and it's one that I've recognized in life about myself and other people. But this idea that there is a system, and you can rail against it, and you can want to fight the system and change the system, and even be someone like Simon who is kind of out of the system mostly, but you still are dependent on the system. Your ability to fight the system or even live out of it is completely dependent on the system being in place and you being able to tap into it from time to time.
Agreed.
And so Simon really doesn't like the way our current set of cultural and social guidelines are there for, this is what you do at these periods of time. This is when you get married and you make money and you graduate from college, and you like, everything is these gradual steps to death that are set up, and you're supposed to be very happy about that. And but he's doing things like he has to go to the drug trial to go and make some extra money so that they can finish their album. Well, he wouldn't be able to do that if the system wasn't in place for him to be able to go to a drug trial and make $2,000 off of it. But if the system wasn't there, he might not have needed the $2,000 from that system. So it's an interesting commentary that the system that he fights against is sometimes there for him to fall back on. He goes to his family's house and still has a key to the place. He could have done that along the way at some point in time, but he didn't until he was with Patty. And I guess he was feeling calmer at the time. It gave him access to the recording equipment and the instruments. So this idea that you're fighting the system, but then you also have to participate in the system. I mean, it's even a meme. I've seen people who have even pointed that out where, folks have said, this isn't a good system. And it's not, oh, but you're participating in this system. Aren't I smart for pointing it out? It's like, no, we're stuck in the system and we have to work off of it.
Especially dealing with like family, like well-to-do families and whatnot.
Yeah.
And trying to have a traditional, because they have like a traditional relationship where they're boy meets girl and boy meets girl's family, girl meets boy's family. And so those traditional roles, but they also kind of like pivot them a little bit by being pro one another and having each other's back, which I loved when Patty stepped up and was like, hey, no. Like, he's amazing.
To the family, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're in that meal. Yeah.
I loved that. And that's what made me immediately fall for this story, because they really have each other's back. They solidly love one another, and they loved each other without knowing each other before they met each other.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just, that to me was the love story there.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was like, I've been jerking off to your letters,
Right.
like, for the past, how many years? And she's like, oh my God, I've been sending you love letters and jerking off to them as well.
Well, and he rejected the idea of a fan being in love with him and tried to run away from it.
But he also was like accepting of it too, because he said he was like, he had been jerking off to her pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's correct. So, yeah, he was, I think he was thrilled by the idea of a fan until he met the fan.
Yes.
When he was, and it wasn't even like,
He puts two and two together first when he realizes that she's his fan, and he's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, he kind of rejected it at first, because he was like, well, I'm, why would anybody be like this to me?
Right.
This is a punk rock band. This is not punk rock. Whatever the case. I mean, like, we all get into that. Like, I mean, whatever. But I think that when he realizes, when he puts the two and two together, he's like, oh, okay. And he kind of falls for her, and then they sing a song together, and he asks her to sing from the poems that she writes, that to him, and it is this darling of a song. Like, it's very catchy, watermelon, tongue, cute.
Yeah,
it's just a sweet little moment that made, like, set my heart. What can I say? And I'm like, it's not a horror film, but I love it anyways.
Yeah. It's so good. And I did the little IMDb search on a couple of things, looked for some stuff. And Emily Skeggs worked with Adam Raymer to write that song.
Oh, cute.
So they had done that together, so that when we get to our moment where she's singing that in the film and we're watching them write this song, Simon puts the instruments together, and then she takes one of her letters and turns it into lyrics.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, you're so right. It's so powerful. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's punk. It's
very kiddie punk.
Loving.
Yeah.
I guess it is. I will admit, I'm a person who I don't always know my bifurcations in music. I just know when I like something, and when something speaks to me and something doesn't.
Oh, that's fine. And I mean, I think that we've left those kind of genre names behind in the 90s, right? Like, we're like the goth. This is, Yeah. I mean, but I'm only hearkening those back because it's like familiar terminology.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it's but it's not. It doesn't feel pop punk to me. Like, it doesn't feel like it's what were some of those bands in there? I'm even trying to, like, remember some of the late 90s, early 2000s kind of pop punk outside of outside of the Green Day world. Like, Green Day was popular. They were pop punk, but there was a bunch of others that,
like Goldfinger. No, those are like, I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, there was some of those just kind of like pop punk
Operation Ivy
bands.
Or something like that.
No, I don't even know who that is. I'm thinking the ones that actually had like top chart hits that were like they were so poppy, but they had their punk aspect to it. I can't even think of the band's name, but Travis Barker was the drummer for them. That's how much it affected my life. Like, I don't even remember their names.
I was busy in the 90s.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like, to me, that was there was a few moments that was one of them that was made me go like, oh, I just love these characters.
Yeah.
And that their little sharing their song, and then that kind of like rockets their love story furthers their love story. Yeah. Because that's when we have like the kiss scene, and then we have the scene with the dinner with the family, and thanks for introducing me to this film. It was a lot of fun to watch. I would have never probably watched this on my own. I would have been like, ugh. Yeah. And doing a little meta on it, I'm shocked. Like, and it unfortunately, had a release during 2020.
Yeah,
in 2020.
it was there when everything fell apart.
And it looks like that was a tragedy of this film, that it didn't get seen at all. But reading that it's having like an uptake in interest. I even read that Kyle had written about it, like saying that he was shocked now that audiences, it was like selling out theaters now.
Yeah. That
people are responding to it, because I feel like it's very topical now. Like, I think this is the kind of film we needed now. Unfortunately, it was shot, it was released in 2020. But I think it would definitely do good now if we got a new release, especially because now he's gotten so popular specifically.
Yeah. Well, but it is, I mean, to be honest, it was the film that we needed and deserved in 2020, but the system didn't allow, which is so punk. The system didn't allow for it, but it's because of word of mouth and digital releases and people talking about it, going, holy fuck, this film is amazing. And then people wanting to see it in a theater. Like I said, I saw it in a theater, I think in November 24, a couple of months back. I saw it in a theater, and I had heard about the movie, and I had heard about how good it was, and I had wanted to see it. And you know this about me, so this is really more for the audience, but I like watching movies in a theater.
Same.
If I can watch a movie in a theater first, I will do it. I don't feel distracted in a movie theater. Even when I don't like a film, I'm not enjoying it, I can still write out that film, and my phone is turned off, I'm in the dark, and to some degree I can be engaged enough with it, even if I don't like it, to stick with it and then watch the credits, because I want to support every person that made the film.
Absolutely.
And so this was a film that I had kind of hesitated watching at home, and then it came to this theater, watching it again, and Emily Skeggs was supposed to be in person.
That would have been so cool.
And I was so excited for that. It was so exciting and cool. It turned out at the very last minute she couldn't make it. But then she shot a video like that day or maybe the day before of thanking everyone being there. And she had a Chombie bear wrapped around her for the whole thing, which was one of those moments where I haven't seen the film yet. So here she is in a bedroom with this bear suit on her that looks like the Chombie bear that she wins at the carnival. And she's saying this, and I'm like, I don't know what this means. It didn't mean anything to me at all. And by the time the film was done, I was like, that was so sweet. It's so wonderful. I want to talk about Emily Skeggs so much, but
we should say how the Chombie bear happened. Like this was their wonderful date.
Yeah,
they had this date together where they went to the arcade. Again, that's one of those things that made me go, "What era are we in?" Because I love an arcade, but I'm also a Gen Xer, so. Yeah. I love going to play skee ball and right. do those things. And so that they have this kind of carnival date that's endearing and loving, and you're watching their warmth with one another. And it's just, again, it was
it's genuine.
Oh, it feels so their chemistry is so spectacular. Yeah. And he wins. He's like, what do you want? And she goes, I want that Chombie bear, or I want that bear. Yeah. And he goes over and breaks into one of the machines and steals all the tickets. And I was like, this is exactly the punk rock aspects of it. This is one of those moments I was like, yeah. Yeah. He busted in the machine, breaks out all the tickets, and then wins the bear for her. Right. So great.
It's so good.
And it's she loves it. She goes, I'm going to name him Chombie. And I was like, this is this is a girl from my heart. I mean, I like my plushies too. I got a few Godzilla ones for my Valentine.
Yeah. Well, and that moment too of him being like a punk rocker like that. Yeah. It's so perfectly done. It's so perfectly well done, because I don't feel like they're trying to over-explain it or have him say, I'm so punk rock. I'm punk rock. He's not.
No, and he's not mean to her.
No, he's not mean to her.
He's so protective of her. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like where people get that wrong when they do like a punk rock character in a film that they're like an asshole all the time to everyone.
Yeah.
But like clearly he has his favorites. Like he is so good with her brother, and he's so
Yeah.
good with her, and he is also like good with like one of the members of the band, but the other two members that want to sell them out, he's not super happy with them, which we should touch on, I suppose, that part of the story.
Yeah, well, and that gets into that whole punk rock aspect of, when are you punk and not sell out.
I hate that
I hate the
term.
idea of sell out. I hate to do it too, and they bring that up in there too. And it's
Yes.
so difficult because you're trying to navigate a culture that requires you to be able to pay rent
Yes.
and pay for food and
Yes.
do all of these things. And then when you get an opportunity to be more popular or to sell more stuff or to have that, then you're a sellout or you're not a sellout. So it's really weird. I guess I don't believe in the idea of the sellout. I think that's a really cheap blow.
It is, and it's a reduction because it's like what happens is they have this concert, right, that's coming up that she told him about that he didn't even know he was in.
Yeah.
And he's like,
right,
we're playing with the Alliance, and she was like, well, I'm not there to see the Alliance, I'm there to see this band, Psyops, which is his band. And this is reeling back to this is when he kind of figures out, he's like,
oh yeah, he's putting it all together.
She's the fan, oh boy.
Yeah.
And he's looking around and looking at all of her stuff, and he's like, oh shit. But yeah, she says that she going to the show. Would you go to the show with me? And he's like, yeah, I'll go to the show with you. And then when he reveals that he's, that he's a lead,
Johnny Q.
Yeah,
Johnny Q of Psyops. Yeah.
What was it? Her music boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cute too. Oh gosh, there's just so many great things about this.
It's so good. I'm
did not
pleased
expect
that
to
you
love this.
I'm pleased that you love it. That makes me feel really good because my taste is not always going to be other people's taste.
No, and I'm not a sap, but I am a sap for this. What can I say?
Yeah, I am not a romantic comedy guy.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything against them, but they're
No.
not necessarily my thing. And there's some of them that are fun and delightful. I don't know if you remember the film from the late 80s, Roxanne, with Steve Martin.
Love that film.
To Cyrano de Bergerac. Now, I love that film. I think it's a wonderful romantic comedy. I absolutely love the adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac into that whole thing. Daryl Hannah is magnificent in there. It's such a lovely, wonderful film. And
Is that a romantic comedy though? Yeah, you're right.
It is.
And I'm now that I'm starting to be like I'm watching more films. Like I've watched like a few more like romantic movies, and I'm like, oh, well, I kind of like some of these, but there has to be a compelling story for me to like it. And this, again, like at first I was like, ooh, Martin, when we get ourselves into this 30 minutes, that first 30 minutes is long.
It is.
And then when we
because it's unconventional.
But when it gets rolling, it's like that's when you're like can't look away watching this heartfelt story happen.
Yeah.
It's not a train wreck, but being hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Of love.
Yeah.
It's so adorable.
It's so adorable, and it is very unconventional. And you usually have your 3-act structure.
Yes.
And you've got something where we get our introduction, and then we have something that kind of kicks off what the story is. There is that initial action that seems to set the stage on what's going to be happening, and then we have our characters play out through a variety of usually anticipated roles that lead to them, falling in love and then coming apart and then coming back together again and all of that in a typical romantic comedy.
They didn't do that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that, I think, is idiotic, and I hate that. I don't hate it. That will draw me out of a film sometimes. I did watch a love story recently that had that formula, but it worked out and I was okay with it.
Yeah.
But I hate that structure in general. Like we have to have somebody's got to learn a lesson, and then when we come back and everybody feels better, and it's like there was none of that in this.
Yeah.
And I think that endeared me more to this film because of that, because I wasn't forced to go through a morality lesson of some sort, or like somebody had to be redeeming themselves. Nobody redeemed themselves. They were exactly who they were the entire time, and there wasn't any redemption arc or a hero's journey or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that about this, honestly. thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that was probably one of the more endearing aspects of this film.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you see them coming together as a couple at, like with what happened? Did you expect that? Did you see it happening?
I had my suspicions.
Okay.
But I think that's because they left us a bit of a crumb trail for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like generally with her stuff and like her love of music, I was like, oh, I have a feeling he's going to be the lead singer of that band. I think that's the only crumb trail that I really kind of picked up on. But other than that, like they're, we have the notion that they're going to be warm to one another with that. But I didn't see that as it wasn't so much of a tell that it took me out of the story. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And so there's a very interesting way about how I consume my films. Mm-hmm. If I am really involved or invested in a film, even though I know film structure, I work in the film world, I have executed films at various levels above and below the line. When I'm invested in a film, I can actually check out enough where I'm not watching the beats anymore, where I'm so invested in my characters that I'm literally along for the ride.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to put it, because that's kind of how I feel too because I break down films for film festivals and for podcasts.
You see
and
hundreds of films
so
a
I see
year.
So much, and so it's hard to surprise me, right? But I'm not always looking. I don't want to always be surprised. Anyways, I'm not looking for that. That's not what my goal is. Mm-hmm. I think that when I say something takes me out of a film, that's what I mean. It's like it makes me hyper aware of that I'm looking at formulaic structure. Right. And I see that so much in modern horror that makes me bonkers because I can't enjoy it. And there's been some good ones lately, but obviously for another show, Strange Darling's actually being one of them.
I know, Strange Darling. I really want to see that when filmed in Portland with people that I know and have worked with who worked on that film, and Giovanni Ribisi's DP cinematographer debut in a feature. Yeah.
And our boy Kyle, he's in it.
Yeah, Kyle Gellner.
And he's great in it. And I didn't realize until you said that's something that when I say, people go, oh, what did you think of this film? And I'm like, oh, the third act, they always shut the bed. Mm-hmm. And now I'm hyper aware of that's now my critic brain and my dissertation brain taking movies apart while I'm watching them. Yeah. This one didn't do that to me. So it didn't make me feel like I was in that position where I was super concerned about how the story was going to unfold, because the story felt a little bit more natural and a little bit. I think that's part of why I now am a big fan of this film.
Yeah, it felt I felt like I was participating in the story.
Yes, without being taken away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't directly involved, but I was participating in the story.
We saw this couple at the arcade. We totally saw this couple at the restaurant. Yeah. Those moments are very we saw them in the alley, he's smoking a cigarette. But the cutest thing about this is when we get towards the end of the film, mm-hmm. where unfortunately our boy gets arrested. And he gets put in jail, mm-hmm. and she becomes a musician, mm-hmm. and I just
she becomes the lead singer for that female punk band.
Yeah, for a Riot Girl band.
Yeah, Riot Girl. That's
which
it.
is another thing that made me go, wait, again, what era?
Right,
because
I know.
I was a Riot Girl, and I had a shaved Chelsea and all that stuff, and punching in windshields and.
Oh my God, that's epic! I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I was very an activist for executive clemency for Leonard Peltier, which we just got.
Yes.
But yeah, that was one of my main that one and ACT UP, the AIDS organization. Yep. So when she's like, I'm joined a Riot Girl band, I was like, say what you did. those are around still. That's rad. Like I loved those moments.
Yeah.
And she obviously came into herself and seemed to, like, she was wearing lipstick and she's smoking cigarettes. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I loved that she became herself and was able to get away from what her parents wanted her to be. I mean, we don't know, like, if she got another job and she got successful or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We don't need to know that. But I just love that her success was found in loving herself.
But I love the fact that Simon did not turn into something else.
Exactly.
And it's not that he remained the same, because he does fall in love with her.
And there's some growth there.
And there is some growth there, but he is still an anti-establishment person, so there are values that he maintains that are worthy of staying with a character.
Yes.
And again, I don't find this film to have like a redemption arc in him, which I'm great. I'm so great with that. He's not having to redeem himself for what he did in the beginning with all of that. But what he sticks with those values, but then changes inside of those values to open up to her. And he's delicate with her family in a way that he's not delicate with the first family in the beginning after he gets out of the drug trial. You know, he really sees those folks as kind of terrible. You know, the father drops the N-word. They're watching sports. There's definitely this dysfunction in the marriage. And if you look at the relationship between the husband and wife and the brother and sister in that first family, it's very indicative of what we later see with Patty's family, with the husband and wife and the brother and sister. But he sees a difference in between the folks in the beginning and how terrible they are, and tries to burn their house down and wrecks everything, but then doesn't do that with Patty's family.
Well,
so he's maintaining this value system as a punk
Yeah.
with pushing the limits of society, but he's willing to introduce them to things that open up their mind with Patty's family, as opposed to the full rejection of these terrible people with
But
the
her
first
family weren't terrible.
They weren't terrible. They were just
clearly-
suppressed by
They were
the culture
very,
they were
very
in.
suppressed.
Yes.
And they were like, but I feel like they all loved each other.
And they did, but they also weren't brave to recognize that they were suppressed. They were really doing the best they could.
Yeah.
That first family was clearly not doing the best that they could.
No, there was no love for one another.
Right.
I love the you check your tone. Or was that what it was? Wait, what was the line?
You got to bring it down a notch.
You got to bring it down a notch.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that forever.
Yeah.
Hey, you bring it down a notch. I even say that to my own, like, I said it to my kid. I'm like, take it from here to here.
And I forget her name too. She's a wonderful actor and stand-up comedian.
Yes. Damn it.
She's so good. She was in 24. She's been in a ton of stuff. She's a really wonderful actor. And it bothers me so much, and I'm purposely not going to look it up on IMDb, because if I'm failing my names that bad, then I deserve to take the hit for it. But
she was also like on Mad TV, I think.
She's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
She is a fantastic actor. I don't know that she's ever necessarily gotten in the lead of anything that is particularly mainstream, but she's one of those actors that if I see her in a trailer, if I see her name pop up at something, I'm like, that's going to be good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
at least know that moment is going to be good, because that person is always great.
Well, I love that moment where the parents eat the brownies. So the brother, they buried this lead of making us think the brother's going to be gay, and I was like, oh shoot, this is all what happens. It's going to come out. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
He even has like a T-shirt with a hot dog and a bun, and we're like, he's
yeah.
gay. He's got to be.
Yeah.
And then we realize, oh no, he's just like a jerk.
He's just pent up.
He's
pent up by a family who is pent up, and a culture that has them trying to perform in a very specific way.
Yes, taking it down a notch.
Yeah.
And
they. Why aren't you wearing any pants?
Why aren't you wearing pants? I don't know. The parents eating brownies, like eating the pot brownies, but that was spectacular, because I have done that. I've eaten pot brownies. Oh boy, I wore pants, but I felt like I was vibrating onto my skin.
Oh no!
And then I kind of sat there, was like, Oh boy. It's a TV on? I don't think so.
Yeah. I've never had edibles like that before. But
Oh boy.
I actually
Before marijuana was controlled.
right.
Boy.
Oh, I actually took a bong rip once
Ooh.
that put me in the couch the way it put Patty's family in there, and I did have my pants on. I'm pretty certain, but just that zoned out. Gone.
I don't know.
I was gone.
They must have really smoked marijuana because their eyes
Yeah.
look so glassy. Unless there's like an effect they can do with contacts.
They probably put drops in them or something
yeah,
like that
because
right
their
before they
eyes
rolled. They
look
did such a good
so
job.
glassy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that is the weed eye. So good.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Emily Skeggs and her performance of Patty
Please.
real quick. And obviously, Kyle Gallner is fantastic. He's like, so those two people are absolutely perfect. There are times when I watch films and I watch characters, performances by actors where they're great and I'm into it and that was awesome. This was, but there are times where I watch something happen where it's like nobody else could have done that. And Patty with Emily Skeggs is one of those where, and the same with Simon and Kyle Gallner. Nobody could have done those roles. There is nobody else on this planet that could have played those two characters and created what they created. There's no way. They are so perfectly cast and so perfectly executed that nobody else could have done it. And since then we've talked about stuff that Kyle has gone on to do, and I think Emily's been in other films, but nothing that's garnered the same kind of attention.
Yeah.
But Emily is so perfect. She's so perfect. Patty is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You want to protect her, immediately. And that's kind of the energy she gives as that character at the beginning is like he immediately is like protective of her, which I think is adorable.
Yeah.
And endearing.
I want to protect her, but there is a part.
But I also wanted her to be her like best self.
Oh yes, absolutely. There is something about, so it's almost like we find this story gives us this very fortunate moment of two characters who are able to come together, who do protect each other and bring out the best things, because that same Patty character who goes through those same things that doesn't have a Simon come in there may not come into that same person. I don't know. There's just something about, obviously this is all written and it's fiction, but there is something about all the things that play out in that world, even the terrible stuff that happened with the jocks, that turns, that Patty evolves into this wonderful, magnificent butterfly of a punk rocker at the end, where it's like, this person is so fantastic. That last moment with her when she puts the ski mask over her face that he's been sweating in for years in his shows, and she puts on the Walkman and listening to her song she's doing, and she's out there in the field just doing it. Like, I don't want her to go through all of the garbage that she has to go through, but she went through all of that garbage, and the person that she becomes is so magnificent that I just wish I could stand in her shadow all the time and just let that happen. It's so good. Yeah.
One thing I did want to say is that this film has elements of other films that I love. SLC Punk.
I've never seen SLC
What?
Punk. I've never seen SLC Punk.
This definitely has some reminiscence. Also, Heathers.
Love Heathers.
Right?
I never saw the remake.
Oh, no.
But I love
There's
the
a
original.
remake?
There was a remake a few years back.
Oh, no, I
I
haven't
have
seen that.
rejected its
nope.
existence like the Crow
Doesn't
remake.
Doesn't exist in my book, clearly.
Yeah.
But like those films, this is I hate the term to call it a love letter, but it's kind of like has those elements of these two other films that I also find very endearing, that have these kind of characters that are these anti-hero kind of style characters.
Nice. Well, I want to see SLC Punk.
You should. I think you would enjoy it.
It's been one of those films where I haven't watched it because I didn't want to watch it. I haven't watched it because there's so many films. I watch so many things, and sometimes it's like the books on the bookshelf. I got books I haven't read yet. I've got films I haven't seen yet, and if I lived in my perfect world where I could have the effects of going to the gym happen with me sitting and watching movies and eating popcorn, that would be the perfect world. I would have ripped abs and I would have seen every film that I've wanted to see so far.
Same. As well as, like, I try to read books from at the gym. That's not as easy, but I do it. All right.
I am so thankful for you, Gretchen, for not only doing this show, but having watched this film. I love this film so very much. And it's so new to my lexicon of everything, too, and yet I can't let it go. I was this way about Promising Young Woman, and I still am about Promising Young Woman.
I haven't seen that.
It is a magnificent film. That can be one down the road. I could write, if life allowed, I would write a dissertation about Promising Young Woman.
Oh, okay.
It's magnificent.
All right.
It's magnificent.
Maybe I'll have to watch it.
And it's one that breaks a lot of, I feel like, structure rules, too, to give us this magnificent story. It's phenomenal. So thank you for joining me for dinner in America. Mm-hmm. And do you want to tell me and us about what's coming up for the next month?
So next month we're going to talk about I wouldn't even call it a hit. It's not. But the Bava film Danger, Diabolic. It's a sexy James Bond meets speed racer. It did get a little hit on from MST3K, but it is so it's gotten a treatment. Yeah. It's not. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to say it's a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. And I had just got introduced to this film, and then I fell in love with it immediately because I have a low key love of action films. You will find later, I love action films a lot. Oh yeah, especially martial art one. I'm a Van Damme fan and a Chuck Norris fan. So yeah, I have a low key love of action films, and I got introduced to this film and found it as part of a series that was based on a comic. And I've been incessantly taking in all of this, digesting all of this about about Diabolic. It's very Italian. Nice. So yes, that's what we're gonna talk about next. I can't wait for you to watch my film next.
I'm excited to see. I've never seen a Bava film.
Oh, what? Yeah. So Bava I get into because of horror, but yeah, we'll talk about that also.
Nice. Yeah, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah.
And as everyone should know, typically what is happening with our films and these conversations is that we're watching these films, we're going to be trading back and forth with all of these things, and the conversation starts with the film, but you just kind of never know where it's going to go, because this is what I love. Really, this is about talking about films with people that are dear, and just seeing where the conversation goes. Yeah. We've covered so many different things, but we've stayed in here with Dinner in America, and it's going to be the same with Diabolic. I'm so excited to watch that film.
Diabolic.
I got to remember. So it's Danger. Is it Danger? Is Danger his middle name?
No.
Danger, Diabolic. So
yes.
Yeah, and that's from when? What year is that? It's 63?
Yeah. 60s, late or mid 60s, I think. Yeah. So
we're kind of going back a little bit. We had some going back stuff when we were talking about Godzilla, because obviously we were starting, we had talked about some of the 54 and through all of that, but this will be our first full-flegged film that's kind of older and black and white.
No, it's color.
Oh, it is color? Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely has the hyper coloration of a Italian film at this era.
Oh, interesting.
It's not we're not Dario Argento, thank goodness.
Not super saturated, but it's still gonna be.
But has those great cuts.
Nice.
You'll love it.
Okay.
From a filmmaking standpoint, you're gonna love it.
Oh, good. So I'm super excited about that.
Lots of hyper in and
Awesome. Well, Gretchen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and we will see all of you, and we will see you on the next film, and all of you on the next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.